be a sponge, and then bring the juice.
By focusing on your improvement, by focusing on your progress, and eliminating any fixed mindset that you may have and acts of perfectionism, then you encourage your own mastery.
On some level, we do what we want to do 24 hours a day. Now, sometimes it may not seem like that, but if I'm choosing to work instead of sleep, what I'm actually saying is keeping my job is more important than sleeping.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of getting beat. What can I do to get over this hump? So mentally, that's when I kind of put that forefront, like, hey, it's either all or nothing.
I like to put failure in quotations because I don't believe that failure is true failure if you're looking at it with the right mindset.
The truth is, the journey to greatness is hard. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, and every day you have to decide what you value, what you want to pursue, and what you want to achieve. And if you dig deep enough, if you push hard enough, we all have what it takes to be great. Welcome to the Edge of Greatness.
Good morning and welcome to another Daily Dose. It is February 16th. It's Thursday. We're getting close to the weekend. And for all of my listeners who happen to be in Ohio, I hope you enjoyed that beautiful 72-degree day yesterday. I know I did. I'm starting to sound a little better. I feel like I'm getting my voice back. I still got a little bit of something going on. I don't know what that's all about, but today I want to talk a little bit about experience. I had an interesting conversation with one of my clients yesterday. We were talking about how she wishes she knew what she knew now, but could go back 20 years. And I thought that was an interesting thought, and I asked her why. And she goes, well, because the things you learn over time are wasted on a body that can't perform the same way. So she's like, if I could go back and do my training 20 years ago differently than what I did, I think where I'm at today might be a little different. And I thought that was an interesting thought too. And so we started talking about the fact that, you can learn a lot of things. We can know a lot of things, and we can know a lot of things and think we know a lot of things at an early age. But what typically happens is until you try them, you don't really understand them. There's a thing for having experience over this belief or knowledge of thinking you know something. There's things you just can't learn until you try. And I think that's why it's so important to put yourself out there and do things even before you may feel ready. Because the experience and the learning that happens on the job, so to say, is invaluable. The things I've learned doing the podcast that I'm doing is 1,000 times greater than anything I've ever read about podcasting. Same thing with my training career. I read all kinds of books. I had 2 types of certifications. I planned on continuing education and doing all this stuff. But the things that I say and the things that I do in the actual workplace are not what I learned in the book. I don't work with people who need to know specific muscles. I don't work with people who need to know scientific terms for how movements work. If I say eccentric and concentric and contralateral and all these terms that if you're a science-based person, great, you know those things, that's cool. I can do it without saying the fancy terms, which comes with the experience of speaking to people, working with people, knowing how the body works without having to use the terms that make me sound smart. I'd rather sound dumb and be smart than sound smart and be dumb. There's really nothing worse than somebody trying to talk you into believing that they know what they're talking about instead of just showing me that this is what you can do. And that's just something that I picked up over 15 years of training. But again, the wisdom that we get only can come with the experiences that we have. in the time that we have. So what my message is to you today is, you know more than you think, but you can't truly appreciate how that knowledge works or how to apply it until you start to do stuff. So if there's something you've been thinking about, something you've been wanting to do, something you've been waiting on, just start doing it. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time. It can be really ugly, to be honest. It can be awful. But start, because you'll learn things. And then that way, in 10 years from now, when you look back at where you're at now, you won't regret that you waited or that you wish you would have been younger and able to start now. This is a time to start to experiment. It's never too late to learn and apply and become wiser with our knowledge. That application of knowledge is one of the most important things that we can get good at. It's a game changer. But that only comes through action. So as we get closer to the weekend, as we head into the weekend, if you have some extra time, take action on something. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Just start to apply some of those things you've been learning, some of those things you've been wanting to do, and take the first step and get out there and see what happens. And as always, guys, keep reaching for the stars. Fall flat on your face, but remember, whenever we fall, always get up.
Thank you for joining us today on the Edge of Greatness podcast. If you haven't yet, please take a minute now to subscribe and review our show. Join us again next week as we continue to dig deeper into the key components of greatness. The path to greatness is never linear, so remember to keep pursuing greatness no matter what. Keep stretching your abilities, reach for the stars, and fall flat on your face. But remember, no matter what happens, whenever we fall, always get up. Until next time, I'm Charles Schultz, and this was the Edge of Greatness podcast.